Oi.
Wild looking haircut you got there, champ.
Oh yeah, you didn't see it. I can't.
Fucking loose cannon, man.
Yes. My missus hates it every single day, and I love it.
How long's it going to take to come back? I've done stupid things like that when I was your age too.
It's not that bad. I just need. I could take it all off, and then it'd be normal. But I'm just keeping.
Actually, it's not too bad. You look like a fucking beetle.
Bringing it back.
Ringo. It's fucking Ringo.
Ringo.
Ringo Starr from Liverpool. Ringo.
Good evening, listeners. April, I was going to say March, time's clicking along. April 28th, a special guest sitting next to me tonight. My stutter is probably because it's the second glass of wine. Welcome to the Insiders Podcast, Christiaan Bradley.
Good evening.
He's back.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, I'm back. Second time round.
And obviously, welcome to our and my esteemed co-host, Matthew the Mullet Hayes.
Good evening. It only took a while, Christiaan, but we got you back after a few months of begging.
Yeah, it's just a timing issue, isn't it?
Yeah. Christiaan's a family guy. He's a highly in demand media man these days as well.
Oh, we'd like to think so, wouldn't we?
Now, I mentioned last week that if you wanted to find the secret to contraception, come to my house just after dinner time, and I'm probably pretty sure it's similar here, isn't it?
Yeah, I found the secret. Don't you worry about that.
So, Hazy, fire him a question.
Yeah,
Let's get it all rolling.
Let's get it rolling. Well, as said in a previous poddy, Christiaan, I hold you as one of the best best shapers in the world, but I think you're one of the best high performance shortboard shapers in the world.
Thanks, man.
But I know you're not a huge. I know you watch some surfing, but not massively into it. And I just wanted the first question I want to ask, because the last time we had you on was speaking about Stab in the Dark.
Yes.
Did you watch it all?
No. I got filled in, like everyone tells me what happened. And
did you see him surfing it's Sea High, wasn't it, Matt? Did you see him surfing the Sea High?
Yeah. I think I saw one wave or a couple of waves, but I think Leo filled me in on that before it had even happened. He goes, Leo had kind of given me some inside info and of the board that he had chosen. So I kind of killed it for me.
Did Leo then try and order a batch of those as well? No. Well, it's a
wonder I didn't see Jack do it though. I thought he might have been.
I think he did.
Oh yeah,
I already did. Ordered a few.
I already ordered a few of a batch of the lost, the ones that the board that came second, the Mayhem.
Yeah.
I thought I read that he ordered some channels, which between me and Christiaan, we do know, which I'll get to that later. We do know they do that, don't they?
Yeah.
They get flustered and
there might have been something going on behind the scenes that we don't know about there, or something might have happened. Who knows? Yeah. I don't know.
No. So okay, well that's enough of that really. If you didn't watch it, there's not much to talk about. But
yeah.
So with that, breaking down, obviously, last time we spoke to you and stuff, you said about the intricacies of a high performance board. Now,
yes.
What I find kind of interesting with some boards out on the market, they're designed and released like by pros and refined by shapers like yourself alongside a pro.
And they're released by shapers. They're not released by the pros themselves.
They're all by the brands, but they're refined with that level. Do you ever kind of think to yourself, like, I'm releasing this board and Leo, world tour surfer, absolutely rips the bag out of it? Does the thought process come into your mind like, I'm gonna have to tweak it, or do you just go with it and let people?
Good question, Matt.
I like that. It depends what. It depends what. They're kind of in a constant state of evolution. Like, we'll get to a point where this board's working good, and we'll make one after the other. We'll do 2 or 3 at one point, and then he'll pick 1 or 2 of those, and then I'll throw in one where he'll say, "Oh, it went good here and did this, but it didn't kind of do this." So then I will have that file, and I'll call it something else. I'll go point, I'll name the file whatever point 1, point 2, or whatever I'll put, and then I'll jot down little notes of what that was, whether it was the volume on the rail line was I added volume thickness just on the rail line around where your back foot is, or I lifted the concave through the last lifted the rocker in the last 6 inches, or I increased the concave, or whatever I did. Put more volume in the front, and that can either be on the deck or on the bottom, which will change the rocker line. So there's a whole lot of different things that I think will work to counteract what he's saying about the board.
Yeah, but if then you release CB Leo 0.8, then.
But that's way down the
public's
track.
Getting CB LF 0.8.
Yeah.
They're getting that board up and down the scale from 5'11" to 6'5", but by the time they've got it, Leo could be C11. 0.8, 6.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, it's not those models that we create to be released for that year, the following year after that may not get changed for 2 years.
And you never,
unless it's something that I think is. Complete, very important to change, because it makes that much of a difference. And if I do a really big change, and then we've got to think about creating a new model, which is a whole nother scenario, because then you've got to go to the office, you have to say, I'm going to release a new model. And then they say, oh no, we can't do that till next year. And then there's many different ways. You've got to think about how the company's running as well. And
you can't have it's unhealthy to have 25 boards in your own brand, if you're competing with each other as well.
You understand that as well, Matt. Imagine he releases CBLF8, like what we said.
Yeah.
Fuck, best short board ever. You guys order 50 of them, got them in stock. 3 weeks later, he goes, I got CBLF 8.6, it's even better.
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you do with the 20 that are in stock?
Yeah, you've got to come up with a design, and then you create the standard stock files as well of that design, because all the shops are ordering stock sizes. It makes it easier for them to have that stock, and then the person can look on the website and go, okay, I've got this model with that width and that volume, and people it makes it easier for the consumer, the person who's buying the board. You can't be always bouncing back and forth and changing the board, even though people want what's necessarily current is within the last year or two.
Hey, what's your pro board? I'm talking from Jeremy.
Mm-hmm. Jeremy?
No, I'm talking from, let's roll the dice, from Kelly. What's your pro model board that you think was the easiest to ride for a normal surfer?
That was a pro board?
Yeah.
A pro model?
Mm-hmm.
It's a great question.
For just a standard surfer?
For me, for Matt, and someone who can ride a shortboard without being on the tour or even on the QS.
Well, I know now the one is pretty user-friendly if you surf good, but then again, you've got to find the right person that suits that rocker and that,
what about
that
the
style
Devil?
board.
The Devil?
The Devil was a good board, yeah, and we still do that as custom. I don't know. Okay, so
the Devil was one that Kelly won bells on, Matt, or maybe it was Snapper.
Yeah, it was bells, yeah.
Snapper and then bells.
No, it was bells, because I took it and I arrived there and he won bells. Yeah.
So moving on,
and everyone loved that board. It was a super easy board to surf kind of thing.
And that was the first kind of area where Kelly was really cutting lengths off his boards, and that board was a 510. So and that was a big chop. And I don't remember if he had asked for that or I'd done. or I'd done that.
So evolving from that question slightly.
Yeah. Yes.
On the flip side of that, have you ever, like made a board for yourself?
Yes.
That isn't a stock model, for example, at the time you've like played around, made a board for yourself, and no disrespect, I've seen you surf and I think you're a decent surfer. You're like, but
thanks, Matt. Round two.
obviously not a pro. I don't think you're going in Challenger Series anytime soon. But I'm
always in the Challenger Series.
But you then surf it and go like, oh shit, this thing's great. I love it. Do you then go, actually, you relate more to 90% of surfers in the world?
He has got that model, the LG.
Yes. No,
but that's not even on you. That's not off the
large. The LG for large.
Yeah, that was
CBLG.
I still do customs of that. Yes, I did. And there was, and I've just shaped Leo a board, which he has in Australia at the moment, and he really liked the feel of it. And that was called it was an old model called the CB2. And I remember CP2, yeah. And I remember guys used to like that. Mick Fanning had a few. Joanne Duru, Dimitriou. There was a lot of really good surfers who liked that. Had an increased tail rocker and a lower front. So if you can imagine how, say, for example, Mick surfs, you see how he comes off. He really drives off his front foot and then unleashes like right off the back foot, really hard and really tight. So that had a lower entry rocker with the lifted tail, because with the lifted curved tail, you really push and drive really hard, and the board really holds, especially tight in the pocket.
Hey, saying that, Matt, that was a hard board to surf, the CB2.
Yeah, but this board came from a handshake that I did, and I saw it the other day in the rack at work.
Fluoro orange rail?
Yes, and Belly had it. Has got it in his collection of boards. I don't know how he ended up with that one. Hey, and it's a handshake. And then I entered it into the machine, and it became a pretty popular board. And then I was going through my files after I saw that board there, and I thought, I might try that on Leo. And and then he tried it in Newcastle, and he said it felt really good. So we're gonna. That's a work in progress.
Semis, wasn't it? Newcastle, Matt, Encyclopedia of Pro Surfing.
But last year?
No, this year.
Leo.
Yep.
Semis.
I think it was semis.
I didn't see what happened there.
A quick footnote, listeners. CB2, this Czech guy called Michael, who was pretty cut, but a bit of a beginner, came in and ordered one. I wasn't there at the time, and I was, I'd get a bit bossy because I didn't want people ordering boards they couldn't ride. And he came back to pick it up, and I said, I don't think you should order that. He ordered it. Shit. And when he picked it, he brought it back after a session or 2 sessions, and he couldn't ride it. You remember? And I went out and he sent me back to the office. What? You don't remember that weird dude, that Michael? He was the Czech dude with the massive band. Yeah. And he said, go back to the office. I'm talking to the shaper. Well, the board back because he couldn't ride it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But anyway, is there a model that, like, so say the CB2, you went off to Leo, and you're saying like Mick surfed it and all of that. But would you ever look at that board and go, right, okay, I'm going to make myself one of those. I'm not a world tour surfer, so I tweak it this way, and that's the model you then release to the 90% of the public, or do you just, or is it somewhere in between the Leo and you? Do you get what I'm saying?
Nowadays, like when I was younger and I could surf that kind of similar volume and similar length, and the boards were more similar because I was lighter and more fitter and I surfed a lot more. I could actually have a feel, I could surf well enough to feel what the board was feeling.
Yeah.
How the board felt. So I backed myself many times on a few different models that board felt great. Okay, so that just confirmed my thoughts on how the design went.
That's good. Yeah.
So, and I could relay that to people and say, yes, this is what it does, and da. But everyone surfs different, and you've got to realise that people are more front-footed, back-footed, even stanced, different levels, different weights, different heights.
How heavy is that?
Some people are stuck on riding dimensions that are too small, some are too big. Some people, you've got to kind of read between the lines and study how these people are. But it's like people who get on the internet and they self-doctor themselves, like self-diagnosis. Oh shit, I've got a pain in the chest. I can feel, oh my God, I've got a heart attack coming along.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the same with surfboards. So people think, they read, they look on the internet, and they go, oh yes, that's me, I'm going to ride that. But you don't.
Yeah. And
you never know until you stand up.
And we get
yes,
and that's a really good point as well, because sometimes I speak to people and they say, oh, the board done this and the board done that, and they're, say for example, they're riding a step up in 2 to 3 foot like waves and stuff, and you're like, you're not putting that. It's like you're not putting the board where it's meant to be. You're using a butter knife and a stake, for example.
Yes.
So another question I wanted to ask then is, when like I obviously I help people buy boards daily, like probably between 50 and 100 people a day I speak to about what board should they be on, blah blah blah. And when I first started doing that,
how come you're not? Are you okay?
No, absolutely not. But when I first started doing that, if I then had someone come back to me and go, oh, you said this board would work for me and it doesn't, I was a little bit like,
want your money back?
Well, I was just a bit like, oh, like far out. I thought that would work, blah blah blah. But then, like you just said, you have to take in so many factors about how you build a board, and then there's so many factors about front foot surfer, back foot surfer, even stance surfer, and then so many things about the waves. Did you get to the point where you kind of realized? Was there a point earlier in your career where you almost was trying to please everybody, and then there's a point where you actually realized, you back what you do, it's a good board in the right conditions for the right surfer, but you just can't please everybody?
Yes, you have to take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, if you look at someone and say, okay, it's probably harder to shape a board for someone who has that average ability, because they think they know what they want, they think they know what they're doing, they think they surf well enough, but they could be,
just they think they're front foot and they might actually
be back foot. Yeah, and that's where I come in. A good shaper will be able to tell someone if they see them surf. I always ask people, can you show me some footage of how you surf, and then I can kind of work out where their ability's at, and
that's really good. Yeah,
if they're using the right volume or they're doing something completely wrong, or they need a board with wide point forward or wide point back, or
it's the worst thing in the world, isn't it? Is selling a board to someone that you haven't seen surf.
Yes, but the thing is with selling surfboards is most of the people who come to you, who come to me, they've already
the
studied
90% of
the
that.
whole thing. Self-doctored themselves on the internet before they've even arrived at the factory or arrived at your shop. Or
29.7 litres.
Yeah. And well, there's a common misconception too with literage. That's a big no-no just to run on literage. Length is probably the most important, then
definitely
volume.
And also, it's like, I think a dangerous thing is to run purely with literage. And I also think what people need to also do is look into what the board was designed for. Like, because if you go onto a website, go onto a surf website and click, right, I want 33 litres, you're going to get a 5.2 to a 6.4. And they're obviously they're designed for different things as well. So, which is,
automatically, if you look at length, that cuts it down to where you should be looking at, really.
Here's a good one for you then, and I'll wait for your politician answer. But what do you reckon the worst board you've ever shaped is?
Oh, heaps of them.
Your last one.
all of Darren's.
Yeah. I think the worst thing you can do is get it really wrong. Sometimes you can spend too much time with the person, and you take it in and take it on board, and they're telling you this, and you're thinking this, and then it can get it really wrong. I remember this one.
Remember, I got you to do one from the Yo. Fipsy was in Australia, and I was like, It's really good, but at speed, it's kind of too hard to turn because it's really we reversed something. Then you were going, I don't know about that. We did it, and like it didn't work. As soon as you try changing stuff yourself, unless it's I think like in little doses, you're in big shit.
And a lot of the time, which I've learned over time as well, is you might think to do this, okay, change this, do that, and it's exactly the opposite.
Yeah,
it's completely opposite. You know, I shouldn't have lifted the rocker. I should have dropped the rocker. And there's many different ways you can look at it. And we're all guessing. All shapers, it's all guesswork. And no matter how professional they tell you are, shaper, no, you're the best shapers in the world, it's all guesswork.
it's more educational guessing, isn't it? The more educated you are, the closer you guess. But
and the longer you've been doing it, the better your guessing it gets. So,
and I'm figuring if you're based 1 kilometre from trestles, where you got so many pros, you got all that exposure to these guys coming to get your board, and you got 10 times more of a chance to have people go, oh, that's fantastic, and it's no different, for example, to Gunter Ron or some dude who's hidden in the back corner at some beach and might be actually doing something amazing.
Yes,
and people don't even know about it.
Exactly. Yeah, you've got to. I mean, if I was going to tell someone what to do, like people I talk to, and I'd say, look, I'm struggling with this. I have this board that's a whatever. And I find I can get waves really easy, but it feels a bit stiff. You've got to kind of realise where they're surfing and what they're up to and what they want to be doing. You know, you have. Yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
No,
okay, so
you got to dissect.
I'm going to go with that. Imagine Leo's just said to you, okay, I want these for Margies. Here's what I keep thinking. Back to back. Margies, which is that open ocean kind of fat right.
Yeah.
Straight into, it's not that fat, really.
Fat,
no, it's not either. It's power.
Yeah.
Straight into, if he makes it, which he might not.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't go there because straight into, let's say he doesn't make it, talking about the cut and everything, straight into small snapper, super sucky.
Yes. Okay.
What does he do? He's got to have 10 boards, doesn't he?
Yeah.
5 for each.
Yeah. And this was a thing that happened with Leo. Well, not with Leo. Well, yes, it was, because I had a bit of an insight into that because years ago when I was 18, we went to South Australia. We were on our way to South Australia, to Western Australia, but we stopped in South Australia and the surf was that good there that we stayed at
Cactus.
a secret spot there called Cactus, and it was amazing. There's a heavy, nice, really nice right-hand reef break. And it was kind of, the wave is, really fun, powerful reef break, kind of long.
Kind of shitty too.
Yeah, and it bends onto you, and it's a really good right-hander. Really fun, really high performance, and it makes you feel like you can really surf really good. And we stayed there for 2 months, living in the desert.
Fucking 2 months.
Yeah, camping out. It was one of the best things I've ever done, I reckon.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we did that. And then it was that good, we kept going back and doing it for years after that.
What's that got to do with boards?
Anyway, so we're talking this wave. Okay, so the wave there is a reef break. The swells hit it straight on, okay, from the ocean straight on, and it hits this reef, and the swell is running parallel to the reef, and it's running down, okay, like this, okay, and so it makes the wave bend onto you. So the wave is bending onto you like this. So that means you can really hit the lip, and you can really turn in the pocket. You can really turn, like, it makes you feel like you're a really good surfer. Okay, so then we arrived in Victoria on the way back, and we were surfing Winky Pop one day, and I thought, it's a right-hand point break, and you go out there, but it's totally different because the swell is coming from the same direction as we were in Cactus, southwest, right? But it has to wrap, okay? So you got a big swell. It needs to be a pretty big swell in the ocean further south to arrive at Bells Beach and Winky Pop. So this swell travels a long way up the coast, and it's wrapping the whole time, and it's wrapping into Bells and into Winky Pop. And as it's coming down the point, down the wave Bells, and then further down is Winky Pop, and it runs down along the reef there. And so this wave is actually not bending. It's not
It's not coming to
breaking
you.
onto the reef. It's breaking off the reef.
Yeah.
So your surfing is totally different because the wave is breaking away from you because it's wrapping, and it's going down the reef like this at a different angle. It's not folding and hooking onto the reef and bending in
hence why it's Kelly and Nick and them that win all those comps because they're that good that they can.
So your bottom turns become more drawn out. You're more open face turns and carves, which you really have to time to perfection to be able to control and maintain the speed off the bottom, big drawn out bottom turn, out off the lip, and have enough speed to come back right into the power source, into the whitewater to make it look any good. You know, like it's not being done for you. You have to that really shows a good surfer who can surf a place like.
And you need a different board for each.
Yeah, and you need a board that carries a bit more volume through the rail because those turns are more drawn out and
flatter.
Yeah, and the turns are a bit flatter. The turns are more in the face and in the lip, or not in the lip, sorry, but on the face. Whereas
more horizontal as well than vertical.
Yeah,
it's more like round and up, then straight off the bottom and back up.
Yeah, it's really beautiful surfing. It really shows people who have a nice technique. And whereas you surf those other waves like the Gold Coast, everything's in the lip and in the pocket. There's kind of two different types of surfing.
For example, Leo, or I can't think of anyone else, but he's as good an example as anyone. He'd be on a 5'11", wouldn't he, or 5'10", 3/4 at Snapper, and what, a 6'1".
5'11", yeah. And then he was right. He had a good 6'0" down at Bells.
No, at Margie's.
Oh, Margaret's. Oh, yeah, no, 6'0", 6'1".
Yeah,
6'2", 6'4".
No, round pins.
But anyway, I don't know. Have we gone off track here? Sorry, Matt. We can edit this out, can't we?
Yeah.
G-Land. Is that the same board? G-Land?
That goes into my question.
Would.
I reckon he'll have to, yeah.
So if we manifest Leo going absolutely nuts at Margaret's, and why not? Let's go. Leo wins it, right? Wins Margaret's, makes the cut. How is he already is he then scrambling for G-Land boards, or is he riding the same boards as Margaret?
I asked him, but you didn't hear.
Yes. No, he's pretty casual about that. He told me, he said, oh, no, it should be good for having G-Land boards. And then Belly's going, yeah, but we'll get someone, I can get someone, you know, Belly's kind of the man on getting stuff delivered and around. And he said, I can get you some more boards. And then I think Leo said, oh, yeah, okay, we'll see how we go after Margaret's, which in turn turns out to be a mega rush.
A 6'1" or a 6'4" rounded pin, you'd think, yeah, all right, G-Land as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but a lot when you're thinking about the average surfer, you're thinking about
open ocean wave too. G-Land did.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's heavy, man. That's scary shit. Anyway, what were we saying? But
he's going to use the same boards, you reckon?
Yeah, but with pros, okay, you're looking. It's a totally different. Normal people shouldn't look at what pros do because it's so
telling people
way different to.
You're so right.
Their boards are designed to slow them down, if you will. You know, they're all designed to be to go slow, so you can get in the tube, to be able to control high-speed manoeuvres because the speed that they generate, because they're so good, you know, they've got to be able to control it. So they're all refined out, and they're designed for hold. And whereas the average guy who probably is, you know, shitting himself being out there, needs something that's going to survive the drop and get him the hell out of there. So
100%.
Yeah,
but and that goes. I mean, in surfing, I think that's the main thing is you don't, you know, a lot of people compare surfing with golf, and a lot of surfers play golf, and a lot of golfers surf, I guess. But when you watch pros, if you ever have the chance, go and look at a set of irons that a pro uses. They're like razors, and if an everyday golfer tried to hit a ball, they'd probably struggle to get it off the ground.
Yeah, I've looked at that.
It's not even like it's not even thing of you shouldn't look at pros. You shouldn't even look at what your local ripper's riding.
No, especially if you're not really
because
at that level.
There's so many different levels, isn't it? Like imagine the best surfer we've got here, like this week. You see the best dude out in the water, and you think, oh, he's
they
pretty
rip.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's going to get smashed at a QS final,
Yeah.
unless one of our QS dudes.
Yeah.
And that guy's going to get smashed at a Challengers, and that guy's going to get smashed on a CT.
Yeah.
And even on the CT, the guy on the CT is going to get smashed by the top 5.
What I would say to that as well is because in the context you're saying about don't watch pros, I completely agree. But on the flip side, if anybody listening ever has the chance to see, not even
we don't mean
level,
physically don't watch pros,
but the opposite.
We mean just don't use them as an example.
Go and watch. If you go and watch a good level QS surfer, not even World Tour, but well, it is the World Tour, but not even challenge, like not even Championship Series, like just qualifying series. The speed that they move, the speed that they do, like turns at, you'll realise that you don't surf like them very, very quickly.
Okay, what you're looking at there is if you're talking high performance boards, you do rely a lot on the surfer to create your surfboards, and then it's up to this, or especially your high performance models. If you're talking about other models like mid lengths and whatever, like
easy riders,
you're looking at a whole different.
Yeah, but you're not going to.
You're looking at a whole different surfer, and that's coming into your head. But if you're a high performance shaper and you've got your team of surfers, or you got your one guy or whatever you got, you rely heavily on his feedback, because that creates the basis of your high performance model, and then it's up to you to create the width, volume, thickness, a good base model that is good for the average surfer.
Yeah, a lot of average surfers surf pretty good on the shortboard too.
Yes, huh? And it's like in the motorbike world. You got the MotoGP, apparently those motorbikes are very easy to ride. It's just that the guys who ride them to an amazing level.
Extraordinary level, yeah. Well, that's so a bit of a off-topic question in terms of that then, but it's just nice to quiz someone like yourself on this. So say, like, take Jack Freestone, for example. Yeah, he was riding Pizel, and now he's off Pizel, surfs albums, and they're all alternative kind of twin fins, ASIMs, blah, blah. Say Leo comes to you, right, after like he goes, right, I don't want to do the World Tour anymore.
Yeah.
I want to build my YouTube brand. I want to build my YouTube brand, and I want to start riding.
I want to start a surfboard company.
Or no, he wants to ride your boards, wants to ride your boards, but he's got these funky designs and funky things.
Yeah.
Do you embrace that, or do you say no thanks? Not just Leo, like, for example, but just anyone that
Oh gosh, yeah, because a lot of boards that I've done and models have come from people. A lot came from Darren wanting something for someone, or for himself, or for clients. A lot of boards have come from people in Euroglass who are Christian. We need to create this twin fin. We need to do this to sell, and I hadn't even thought about it up until that point. And I go, okay, well, all right. And then that depends how long it takes.
What about when we ripped off CI with their pod, which was the Dane one, and Kelly wanted a couple, remember? And you did the thing, and he took it out at 6 to 8 foot Guardian down the beach here, and like came back and he said to Christian, it doesn't have hold, and like Christian was like, it's a 5'8". I didn't think you were going to surf it in 6 to 8 foot.
Yeah,
and ended up being like one of the best sellers ever. Wide nose and heaps of full rocket through the board. So like anyone could turn it. It was hard if the wave ran because you had to stay in the pocket mat. But this thing everyone loved, because we had an expression which was the wiggle factor. Explain that one.
Yeah, well, at the level, some people who get up and you just, like, if you watch them on screen, if you're lucky enough to see it, it's kind of, they stand up and they wiggle a lot, but they're not actually moving forward. And it's kind of, and then they come in and they go, that board's amazing.
Yes, because and it happens to all of us, me included, you too, and probably you. You do this big turn, and it did feel amazing. It's just luckily you don't see it on video.
Yeah.
Which is what the thing used to do because it was all curvy, so more curved. So easy to turn this board, but as long as you kept it in kind of short, punchy
that
waves.
board worked well because Wilco had it, and Wilco really loved it, and Wilco got
one
second
Santa Cruz,
and he got
one
second.
Santa Cruz.
Second on the goal at Snapper or second or something like
What
that.
board is it?
It was called The Thing.
The Thing.
Oh, right, yeah.
Thanks, CI.
Oh, and your mate, Antoine was in the other day and said that was his best board ever.
Amazon.
Yeah.
They used to buy like hundreds of them. Apparently, this town up the coast from us, Mimizon, every single person in the village had a thing. And a French person will call it a sing. You would too. Go on, say it. Say it.
What, a thing?
A thing.
Effing. This effing board.
And in French, you just have to say it was a truc.
Yeah.
Bestseller. And it was alternative. 10
yeah.
I was looking at it today, actually. I don't know why I ended up looking at it. It's really bizarre. You mentioned that because I was looking at it today on file.
That's weird.
I was searching. Yeah, it is. Okay, Matt, what are we... Sorry.
Next question. He loves the alternative.
This is going to be a heavy one to get through because I've put Darren on the water now, so you're going to have a bit of editing. There's a bit of editing.
We're not editing.
This is going raw. People will love this. Here's a question for you then, because my mate who came down, Daz met him last week. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see you. We was waiting out outside your house for 4 days, but you didn't come outside.
What? I didn't come outside.
No, just kidding. No, I was down. That's the reason why I got the money. It was down. Saw Daz, but Daz saw. Yeah. My mate Jack. He's he's learning to shape. He shaped his own board the other day, first time.
Really?
Honestly, I've not seen the board yet, but I spoke to him about it.
I saw it. I commented on Instagram. Yes, I saw it.
He's
looks sick.
We got a lot of bay here and some blanks that he's had access to and stuff. He's taught himself all from YouTube, and it actually looks pretty sick. But
some people are talented.
So I was going to say, like, for someone like him, what would you say a bit of advice for someone who's looking to like, and don't say don't, but someone who's looking to get into the shaping world, and a bit of advice, like maybe we always do a do's and don'ts for surfing, but maybe like a little do and don't for someone beginning their journey.
How old is he?
He's 27.
Okay, he's young enough. He's young enough for a life full of pain.
Jack, if you're listening.
He's already under the thumb.
Unless you love it.
All right. For me, if I was looking back again, because I never really looked at what I was doing. I was just doing it at the time when I was surfing. I was having a good time when I was living when I arrived here in Europe, I was in Europe. I didn't have any great future plans. I was the whole aspirations. So, yeah, thanks, Darren. I didn't have any great aspirations. I was living the dream. I was on a trip to Europe, and it was an extended trip by the end of whatever was happening. And then
20
years ago, and it was really starting to become a livelihood and a lifestyle for those first few years. Okay, let me concentrate here. Let me think. Okay, what I would say is you've got to pick what you really want to do. If you want to become one of those kind of shapers, if you want to be a shaper that does 2 to 3 to 5 a week, or 1 a week, or 1 a month, or whatever, because this is going to define how you're going to earn your money. Like we have guys who I think have come to Euroglass, and Euroglass is a production facility, right? We have to make X amount of boards per day. We're kind of under the pump to make
to stay viable.
To stay viable, to keep the factory running that supplies, everything that Euroglass is, that supplies everyone's wages, keeps the company running. Okay, so you have to do things that you don't necessarily want to do. I do everything at the
bend
factory.
over out the back.
No, like bend over cleaning, yeah. But you've got to, be prepared to clean the toilets, be prepared to clean the machine, be prepared to sand, glass, hot coats, fix things, use the machine. You've got to be a bit of an all-rounder, I think,
But if
some
you're
people-
only doing 2 a month,
some
you can
people-
be creative.
Yeah,
Be a
some
little
people-
funky.
Yeah, some people want that lifestyle of, oh man, I'm cool. You know, I'm going to do just two. You know, they don't want to chase that thing of having to work your ass
Having
off.
it as a career.
Yeah, having it as a
Yeah.
career. You know, some people want to just take it easy and spend the time with spend a lot of time with the client, spend the week to make the board with the there's so many different ways you can attack being a shaper. If you're a production shaper, you got to do a lot. For me, what helped me was being able to shape a lot of boards. I was a finish shaper. You know, my life as a shaper started finishing pre-shapes for other shapers, for Brian Ingham when I was first arrived in Europe. That was at Pukas, and I don't know, it was 100 boards or something then. And then it
When you say 100 boards, in what time frame?
in probably a month or 3
Right,
weeks or something.
So like 25.
But I was learning. I was really learning then,
Yeah.
and because I had that sanding background. A sanding background is a great background to become a shaper, because you're if you're lucky and working for a top brand and a lot of top shapers, you're feeling beautiful boards. You know, you're feeling the rails. You're feeling how you're looking. You're sanding. You're looking at rockers. You're looking at what that board does. Yeah, it's
cheat notes.
Yeah, you've seen. You know what that board's for. This shaper's designed this board for this guy to surf Indonesia, to surf beach breaks. So you're getting, there's a design formatting in your brain of certain surfboards.
Yeah.
From sanding, just from feeling the rails, you're feeling how the edge is coming in. It's very important, I think. It's like fixing dings is even important, because you're sanding back, you're getting the rail level, you're learning the structure of a surfboard, you're shaping to make it smooth.
That makes complete sense, and that honestly, like I know he listens. Is good, and he will take a lot from that as well, because it's, you know, there's not a heap of people out there, and there's not a heap of.
You're his mate. What is it? Why did he shape the board?
Because he loves it, and that's. Do you know what? It's the main thing is Jack is my best mate, and I've been mates with him for years. But he's the most stubborn. I'm marrying his sister, and he's the second most stubborn person I've ever met.
Imagine he couldn't find anyone else.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he's the second most stubborn person I've ever met when he doesn't want to do something, and the first person is her. And
so is he got any handy skills in other thing? What does he do?
Yeah,
for
he works in our warehouse, but he's been a carpenter. He was a carpenter, so he's got.
He's got it.
Yeah.
He's got it. Yeah,
but he's also got the passionate about surfing and about boards and wanting to learn. And with Jack, there's nothing he won't. If he's doing something, it's because he wants to do it. If there's something that he doesn't want to do, he just won't do it. He's very stubborn, and he spends his free time. He spends his Sundays and evenings after work going up to the shaping bay and finishing the board, sanding the board, lamming the board.
What shaping bay?
There's just one local to us that's free. Yeah.
Oh, it's free.
Yeah, it's free to him. Yeah. So.
And what about you? So switching around, do you want to shape yourself a board?
Fuck no.
See, like me, I've got absolutely.
I would love to.
I never did one ever.
No.
Here you go.
So, you didn't need to.
So I designed.
Good to.
I love designing boards. Like I designed a board with. This is off topic, but I designed a board off of. I saw a mid-length. It was a Paizel mid-length.
Yeah. What program?
On Aki Shaper.
Shaping program.
Yeah. AKU. Yeah. AKU. Yeah.
The little birds.
I saw this mid-length that they had, and I was like, I couldn't stop staring at it, thinking, I want to ride it as a 20. I want to shorten it down, ride it as a 20 for the UK.
Yeah.
And it's here. And I designed it with the guys at Paizo UK.
Yeah.
Ordered myself one. Just ordered it just for myself. And then the guys at Board Shop saw it and was like,
"At Board Shop."
Yeah. And then we stopped.
You know those guys.
Yeah. and
does it work? Is it good?
It's so good. And now apparently in August this year,
it's going
to launch worldwide.
You're joking.
And what's it called?
It's called the Crisis Twin.
The Crisis twin. Oh, they already had the Crisis. So
Yeah, because they had the,
You came out with them all.
you know the Crisis.
it was the mid-length
one
Crisis.
by the prize.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
One
Yeah.
John never rode.
Yeah. So it was the mid-length Crisis that we then, and obviously we just shortened the name, well, changed the name to Crisis Twin. But so I love designing boards. I love coming up with the idea of boards, but shaping one, I can barely change a battery in a.
No, okay. Yeah, you're looking at, there's a lot of different levels of designing. Like I get input from people all around me saying, do this, do that, can you do this? And I go, yeah, and then I'll roll with it, or it depends on the follow-up. And, if it's needed. And
yeah, for sure.
Like at Euroglass, we've got a lot of shapers there. So someone's doing something like whatever, and you kind of don't go near that because he's got it and it's good, okay, we'll let it work. And
yeah,
you don't need to compete with something that we're already making.
You're not going to shape a demi-do.
No,
basically.
God no.
Yeah, but then
no.
but then Gracie's not going to come and shape a Ascend It or a.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him.
Or a Onya.
No, you stick to kind of where you are, and like my niche at Euroglass is kind of the high performance kind of surfboards, and then But now, as I get older myself, I'm looking for more volume, and I'm looking at things like where I came out with what's that new thing? The Lynx. Which is
the Lynx,
because
it's a wicked board.
Yeah, because I wanted
a
mid-range, because I see Fipsy surfing out there and I go, fuck, he's ripping on that thing.
That was exactly my question earlier. Was
we all ordered this board called the Lynx, man. I got on it. I'd surfed really good rights for a week on a whole bunch of different boards.
Right.
And I was going, I still can't do it. Fucking 30 years later, got on the Lynx.
Yeah,
and like all fucking general kooks like myself, and you come in, you just go, fuck, order one of them immediately.
That's what I was saying.
And everyone in the factory had already ordered one. Brandon.
Well, it's been
Mateo.
in the pipeline for 2 years. I think it was nearly 2 years ago we were doing that.
Belly tried to get me to use it. Hey, do you want to test that thing? And I was like, yeah, and I never got a chance to. And then Mateo, Leo's older brother, snapped it.
Yeah.
But that was my point from earlier. Is boards like that, I actually think they're the boards that commercially are going to probably do better than boards that you shape for a pro.
People aren't bluffed
anymore.
All right.
Okay. I'm looking. I get to go in the surf shops and I get to see what the other brands are doing, big brands, and I go in there and I see things and I go, fuck, that's ugly. Or I like that, and I try and I look at what I could do with mine to make a more beautiful one, because they've got to be beautiful. Boards have to be, for me, they've got to look nice.
That comes from the big A, doesn't it?
What?
Mr. Simon. Yeah. If it doesn't look good, Darren, it won't work.
Yeah, but
that's Mr. Anderson.
So your Lynx was inspired by, can I give him credit?
Well, it was kind of like inspired by, Fipsy's. Fipsy rips on his one bad egg,
and
but
the other bloke.
Chili. And I saw it, and then one day I was looking on the Instagram and I saw Chili's.
The mid-strength.
Mid-strength. And I, fuck yeah, he's hit the nail on the head there, because it wasn't so wide point forward. It had a fuller nose, but it was wide point. On the picture, it looked kind of wide point back, and I know Chili. Chili's a good mate of mine, and I was thinking, And then I saw him surfing on it. I thought, oh yeah, that's me. Like it's a bit of length when you get older, and I don't surf as much because of the kids and work and things, and I needed a bit of
95% of all surfers.
Yeah,
that's exactly it.
Young unemployed stoners.
And I needed something that was like that fuller outline.
But you could still whack it with.
Yeah, and it surfs. And when I first took it out, I hadn't even ridden it. I'd seen other people surf it because I'd made it.
Where is your Lynx?
And then, I don't know, I thought you had it. Did you have it? Darren's got it.
I didn't want you to remember.
It's in the garage. I brought it up. It's all good.
But it was very smooth, and I made a board that became very smooth and nice to ride, and you could still turn it critically, and it followed through, and it goes fast, and it holds, and it's really nice, and it just
you don't seem to
felt nice. It matched my 48 year coming on 50.
I thought you were going to say 48 litres.
I thought you were going to say 48 stone.
And
40, 41 litres it is.
41 litres. And that's, I've already made, a heap of them now, and people really like them. So you got to just match it to what people want. But yeah, that comes back to me being at that age, late 40s, approaching 50, and being realistic about what you're riding, and then feeling how it goes, and thinking, people can relate to that. If I can relate to that, someone else who's buying a surfboard is going to relate to that.
Got the killer question.
But then you make it beautiful to sell. You want people to walk in the shop and see it and go, "Far out, that's a nice looking board. That's exactly what I want." And you just got to come up with all those kind of boards. You got to come up with those ones that are popular, that you see the other big brands are selling. So you go, okay, I'm going to rip that off and make something like that, but better.
Yeah.
Hey, so tomorrow, question. This is a question in the podcast.
Yeah.
If you had 2 phone calls and one was from Torren, not calling Steffi, he wanted a board, and the other was from Ethan Ewing for a board.
Yeah.
Who would you get more frothed on?
Well, I'd probably go for Ethan Ewing because it's kind of
your genre.
I want to try and test out all those kind of groovy rock high performance. I still think high performance shortboard 511. I'm still in that kind of area, but yeah, no, I think the mid ranges and those guys have got it down. Those guys who surf really well on those mid range boards. And
so on that, then, if you got say you had what would we reckon the most high performance wave in the world is? Trestles, you reckon?
No. Lakey Peak.
Oh, I've surfed there. That's amazing. That's really
okay.
fun.
So we say Lakey Peak, right? Yeah. You can choose nobody.
Macaronis.
Shut up.
Yeah,
you could choose. You could choose nobody out.
Give me that one.
East, west, running.
You can pick any surfer in the world to be on your board, other than Leo or Kelly. They're the two that don't count. Who would you love to see surfing your board in primo waves, primo condition?
Good question.
Ooh.
Hazy.
Who's Jesus. Like
anyone.
Okay. Have you got? Can you give me a list?
Yeah, I could. Well, like what? Like, so people that come to
John. I'll pick John.
Yeah, I was about to say, that would be the obvious pick, right?
Because his rail, I think his rail surfing is probably better than anyone. His ability to hold a rail line, and that's what I really like in surfing, and that's kind of what my board's been kind of.
I was going to say the top 3 that I was going to mention is like kind of John or Felipe or Gabby. They're the 3 that came to mind. But yeah, John would be.
And and he's a really nice guy. So yeah, he deserves it.
Yeah, he deserves a free board. He doesn't get 5 million a year, but
he'd be a good stab in the dark candidate, I reckon. He'd be really good.
Yeah, because he's super intricate with his boards. But then again, I'd love to see someone like him do the electric acid, because it's just so far away from what he knows, to see how he gets on with a board that's fucking Bonza or something. But
I don't know if he does drugs or not, but yeah, maybe.
Who's that?
Matt wants to put him on electric acid or something.
With Ewing?
No, John, get off your phone.
Oh, John.
No. He's on his phone.
John could, though. John could. He doesn't really need to.
Electric acid is what? Sorry, I don't. What is that?
Electric acid's the
alternative boards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the opposite to the stab in the dark. Are you getting back on stab in the dark then? See?
I don't know. I think that's up to them at Euroglass, because everything is. My situation is different to a lot of the other shapers, because it's not my company, okay? I work for Euroglass. It's how it's ended up, me being here in Europe, and I work for a company, and Belly's had Euroglass. He's legendary at his surfboard manufacturing. Creating Euroglass is a feat in itself, and a foreign guy in a foreign country, and he's come up
while managing the goat for 30 years.
Yeah, like I hats off to him, what he's done. It's amazing, and he's a good guy, and to be where he's at with the business, and how he's kept it going, because a lot of surfboard companies don't make it, they fall by the wayside, and Euroglass is, powering ahead. And it's I'm just along for the ride. I'm living the life here.
But if Belly comes to you and says, Stab want you to shape a board for Stab in the Dark, I'm down for you to send 5 boards over. Do you want to do it? Are you keen?
Yeah, I think it's in the pipeline. I think the boys
nice.
in the office have approached it. I think that's happening. Something happened this year where they didn't, I don't know, something happened where we weren't involved. So that was that wasn't nothing to do with me.
They got to pay how much? They got to pay. Well, you got to one. Okay, so you got to be able to make 3 boards. So there's 1,000.
Well, that's what it was.
There's $1,000.
That's what it was. Is it?
There's $1,000 down straight on the table, cost price, no matter what, and you got to ship them across the world. So let's say ship them to Hawaii. There's another $1,000. So there's 2,000. Yeah. Immediately, and you go, 2,000. What's $2,000 if we can sell you whatever? Well,
unless you ended up like Paul Pang and whatever happened, and or completely.
Then surf it and say it's a dog, and there's $2,000.
That's unfortunate.
Or like
or if they don't invite you, you're not just going to ring them up and go, "Oh, please, can I send you?"
Or like in Geordie's one where the boards arrived damaged as well.
What a dog!
Well, yeah.
You went good in Geordie's one. We missed the first one. They asked for who was it? They asked, and we never.
Julian Wilson,
maybe.
Oh, really? And we were in that one too.
Well, no, we should have been or something.
Julian Wilson was the first, and then Geordie was second.
And it wasn't Julian. It was after that week.
After that was
who was Julian? After Julian.
After Julian was Geordie.
Okay, so it was Julian that we missed.
Yeah, and then I think after Geordie.
Well, you've seen what's come of Geordie's effort doing it. His dad's shaping him his boards.
Yeah,
and going good.
So there you go. Everyone should take a little bit from that. You know, as to what equipment you ride yourself. You don't have to follow with what you see.
And it's funny how. Do you think there's part of it though? It's funny how Geordie. It was only until he didn't have a board with logos on it and stickers on it and stuff that he realised actually. My dad's boards are some of the best in the world.
Yeah.
As well.
And most shapers are. Anyone who's good at what they do, and most shapers in the world who are very good shapers and have been doing it a long time, can shape a board that can go at WCT level.
What about our old mate down across the road who's now got a young Ripper's son?
Who's that?
Fipsy.
Oh, yeah.
God, yeah. Because Jay's been 14 and really surfing good.
Yeah.
So imagine how cool that is. Well, obviously they've had that. Like Geordie's dad had that.
Yeah.
Oh, something I don't need to ride.
And it's funny, because
son.
Me and Fipsy are really good mates, and Jay comes into the factory and I'm there going, hey, Jay, you want to try a one, eh? Give Christian a bit of a go. And Jay goes, no way.
Okay, so before we get lost in podcast land, we'll do a triple do's and don'ts then. You start, so then Bradley can get the feel of it, and we'll finish with him. I'll go second.
Okay. So, do's or don'ts? Fucking hell, you surprised me.
Okay, well, you're thinking. I've got one. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Never heard that saying before. What do you mean?
Like a person or a surfboard. Like you think it's a dog, goes great. You think you can trust someone? You can't. No. You've got to get to know someone and the board.
The worst board in the world will be the best board for someone else.
Oh, that was Fitzy's got one for that.
It's probably better than
someone's dog is someone else's.
Someone's trash is someone's treasure.
It wasn't him that come
up.
I've got my do would be to
mullet.
Yeah, definitely. My do is get a mullet. Everybody should get a mullet and a really bad looking mustache. And my don't would be don't write off a surfboard after the first session.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Because you might learn how to surf better on that board, and that could take you to another level of your surf. Get me, I'll have one.
but also, if you judge it too quickly, you might have just surfed shitty that day. The board might have been doing the best it could.
Depending on the conditions.
Yeah.
But I think there are freak surfboards. Okay, don't get me wrong. I think there's freak surfboards because I've had boards before that have gone amazing, and I just think, is that me or is that whatever? And I give it to someone else and go, no, that board is amazing. No, and it's more than one person who go, no, that board's amazing. So, and then I don't know. It's a grey world, I tell you.
Yeah,
Surfboard.
but that makes complete sense. And to not judge a board.
What was your don't? Was that a don't or a do?
Cut him off.
It was my do and my don't. My
do
do is everyone to get mullets. My don't is don't write off a board after one.
Don't write off a board.
Yes.
Okay. What's your do then? CV.
Do listen to the shaper. Well, listen to his ideas, I suppose. Listen to his experience, and also listen to people who do sell a lot of surfboards, who know what they're talking about with a lot of different pieces of equipment.
It's a good do.
Because they've had feedback from selling to hundreds of clients previously. So do listen to the person in the surf shop who has had that experience of selling to people.
You don't walk into a mechanic's and say, what's wrong with my car? And then they say to you, oh, you need a new cam belt. And you go, no, I don't think so. You listen to them.
Yeah. Hey, mate, your tire's flat. No, it's not.
No, I'm just bogging a rail.
Yeah.
That's a good
exactly.
one.
So
that's a good one.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And my do is this is have a job, because I'm telling you, we've just had it's had, apart from one day, 10 days of shitty surf or longer, and it's looking like it's going like, how do you maintain life if the surf's just going to say, oh, I'm quitting the job?
I get where you're coming from, Darren. I get this. I understand that because it's true. Don't focus your whole life away on surfing and expecting the next day to be offshore, and you just count your days down till it is offshore and your whole life is surfing, because you will become a miserable carrot.
I like how it does. I do like it. It does make sense. But I like how on surface level, Daz, your do and your don't was don't judge a book by its cover and do have a job.
Yeah.
No, can you put that as a job? Because some people aren't fortunate enough to have a job. But
I've got a job.
I mean,
yeah, or just like you said, Christian made sense of it. Is don't just be solely focused on hoping that it's free foot and offshore every day.
It's similar to Heike Garden, famous German or mid-European philosopher,
right?
Whose thing was, if you've only got one passion, you'll never be happy.
Yeah,
because at one stage,
that's where we were heading.
That's it.
Yeah,
we're talking philosophers now.
Yeah, we're philosophizing.
Thanks for having us, Matt.
Thanks, everybody. The last do and don't in one is probably don't record a podcast while caning through red wine, and do.
No, we haven't been. We just had a couple.
I've been watching you.
Before we stop, you got 5 seconds.
Is this a write-off? Have we just written off this whole podcast? Because
no, absolutely not. It's golden.
5 seconds.
Okay.
Which male's going to win Margies?
I'm going to put Leo because I rate him.
Yeah.
I do rate Leo.
What female will win Margies?
No, Stephanie. She's pretty good.
Leo and Stephanie. Wow, he's up the radar.
Thanks, guys. We'll be back soon. Au revoir.
Good night. Thanks, Matt.
Au revoir.
Grow that hair, mate. Good on you.
Cheers, boys.